All right, we're live. Good morning. Welcome to the live trading at Market Open with PB, and my name's Mad Maverick. So we got the big kind of move overnight, right, in the overall stock market. I'm looking at SPY, and I see this pretty much gap up, right? So we got this yesterday. We got the big dip, and then we kind of just ran into the end of the day. Dipped a little bit after hours, but then we primarily just gapped up a little bit pre-market. We went as high as 638, guys. So that was quite the blast it had overnight, especially when we had the news. We had the news that the tariffs were in effect. Trump decided to stay awake late night last night and just so he could put a post out there saying the tariffs are now in effect and we're collecting. Forgot how much it was, like, was it 16 or 18 billion or something it was. So he was very excited and very chirpy at 12 o'clock at night, and to just to wait and post that social media, little spiel there. So I'm looking at SPY. So we did get that nice big gap up to about 638. We got rejection there. We pulled back. So I'm just going to plot out a trade that could happen once market opens. We've got about 11 minutes until that happens. And it's still looking pretty strong. It hasn't really sold off too much. So I still liking this trade maybe to the upside here. So I'm just going to put a few little lines on the chart, resistance points. And then from there, we can plot out a trade for SPY. This will be an option trade after market opens. How's everyone doing in the morning anyways? You guys all prepared? You got your breakfast? You got your coffee? What's going on? Don't mind me with these lines. Okay, so resistance at the top here, support at the bottom. These will be my levels to aim for. Primarily 2-3 minute is what I look for. 2-3 minute candle close under these levels to give me an extra confirmation that we potentially could go higher or could go lower. So I'm just going to look clear, break underneath this level here. I'm going to put this as, which I put it as purple, maybe bright purple. Right here. So we want to just lose this level, and that's going to be 636. And then there is a gap fill opportunity. Like, we could easily drop into the gap if the selling pressure comes in thick and fast right from the get-go. So I know it's a little bit ambitious to aim for the gap fill, but it could happen. And I'm going to just put the top of the gap, and then I'm going to put the bottom of the gap, right? And there's going to be my target points for the downside. It's going to be a downside move, right? So under 636, and then our targets will be 635 to the top of the gap. So we could literally bounce right off that top of the gap if we hold. If we don't hold, then we're going to fall down lower to the 634s is kind of where that gap fill opportunity is to the downside. So just planning this out before the market opens is going to just zone out all that noise that's going to happen at 9:30 Eastern, right? All that volumes and the flooding, up, down, buying, selling. And you're going to get a little bit stressed if you don't have any plans in place. And that's what's good about, getting some mentorship or coaching. You can kind of get in there and plan these things by strategy, by trading plan before all the craziness happens at 9:30. So I'm going to say here, break. I'm going to put here, break down under 636. This is going to be my number to watch. Be kind of, make this a little smaller. Under 636, I play it down to these levels here. We can potentially fill that gap that we opened with pre-market at 4 a.m. Eastern. We could easily fill that gap down to 634. Not quite sure how everything's going to play out, so that's why it's good to plan. And then above, so we can play the bullish move, which we're just going to really be aiming for that high of pre-market up here. So just simple plan for the upside, which will be above, I would say above 637. I'm just going to round it up. Break above 637, and then we play it to that high, right? We play it to that high pre-market, 638 plus. We could really start churning up to maybe 640 if that volume just surges into the buy side. That could be a really good play for us. What I will be looking for as expirations and actually contracts in the option chain, I will be looking for to the upside. I won't go so far out the money, so I will go for probably about 638 calls, and that will be for tomorrow, and that will be the 8th, right? So the 8th is kind of what I'm looking for. And these are not trades to be holding overnight, especially with an expiration of tomorrow, because if it's flat overnight or if it pulls down a little bit, these are going to get destroyed with fader. So you don't want to be. This is just going to be a day trade opportunity for us. Nothing to be holding overnight, unless obviously the trend is really, really strong. Maybe you can hold it into market open. That be it. Not really any longer than that. To the downside, we're going to be looking at 635 puts for August 9th, August 8th, sorry. 8th. That's perfect. So that's what I'm going to be looking for downside, right? So we understand that. We got the plan in place. 637, I prefer like a 2-3 minute candle. And I'm on a 3-minute chart now. We want to see it close above these levels for it to be active, this kind of trade. Right, so right now we're in the middle of the zone, no man's land. I don't want anything to do with this little zone right here until we break above or we break below those lines that I put. I'm gonna make this a little thicker so we can see it clearer. And I'll make it like you make it maybe a blue, and then the top I just make it. There we go. So we got clear little area where I don't want to trade in between. I'm just trying to lose it to play downside, or rip to play upside. And that's how I'm going to aim to trade SPY today. Nothing else until that happens. And then we're going to be aiming for up here as upside, down here for the downside, right? Hood at 109, 111. That's pretty crazy. So that's the SPY trade. So keep that in mind. I'm going to actually screenshot this and put it in the Discord chat so that you guys can see that when I flick between all the other charts. So that's going to be my play there. I'm going to go through this list real quick, see what's going on. We've got about 4 minutes, so I'm just going to see how these are playing out so far. This is IMG. If you were following the watch list, it already smashed out our targets here. So we're just going to be looking at this one. Nothing really. I'm not going to be looking too much at this one because it hit our targets, but I'll be looking maybe a support bounce or a blast through that high. That's pretty simple as it gets. I'm not trying to play in between. We either see momentum to the upside once we get through the highs and we go higher, or we lose this down here and we just fall down, and I don't want to be a part of that. So, you know, pretty much just a rip through high, and that is about 55 cents for IMG. For more upsides, I'm just going to put here 55 cents a break is kind of what I want to look for. That's the momentum to the upside. The other option we have is a pullback to this support and maybe a bounce off support. It's not really a strong support, right? It was just made pre-market here, so it's about 48 cents. So I'll be looking maybe a reversal at 48 cents. And, you know, trading's all about strategy, all about trading plan. And, you know, the risk shouldn't be higher or lower in any other trade. If you've got a solid trading plan to go by, your risk should always be the same, even if it's something that's up 300% and you're trying to day trade it. If you've got the same kind of risk profile in every single and discipline in every single trade, the risk should be the same. It shouldn't be greater because it's up 300% and you're trying to scalp it. There should always be, the trading plan should always be across the board here for your day trading, for your swing trading, for your option trading. You should always have the same plan for everything, and the risk profile for every single trade. It shouldn't be greater because, you know, it's it's a momentum over a day trade or swing trade. It should always be the same. As long as you have the strong discipline, you should follow through. Even if it's a loss, it should be a minimal loss. It shouldn't be, okay, I'm praying it's not good. It's gonna bounce. It's gonna bounce. Let me keep it. Let me keep my position. Let me take away my stop loss. It's gonna come up. Those kind of things, hopes and dreams, don't work in the market. So that's why you just gotta like take that discipline or that emotion away. When you're trading, we can't be like algos, right? We're not robots here. We're still humans with emotions, but at least try to minimize as much emotion as possible. That's why we have like these pre-planned trades before the market opens, so that we don't have to involve so much emotions into our trading when we have these things planned out. So definitely, this is what we work on a lot in the coaching. A lot over the hour that we have once a week in the live streams, and then in the chats throughout the week. We're just reviewing, helping each other with discipline, keeping our risk low, making sure that it makes sense to get into certain trades, and fundamentally what we're looking at in those companies. Are they good, bad, and what have you from there. So I'll be looking at this one. We got about how long we got here? About 15 seconds, guys. That CMCT is going to be one to watch. That is here. I believe it's a low float. Let me just check the float on this one. Yeah, low float, 699,000. This one could get pumping after market opens. We're just going to wait for another break above, maybe above 920 for that VWAP break in CMCT. So yeah, the market just opened right now, guys. So let's see how our SPY trade is working out. I feel like we're going to drop, but I'm not going to be too biased at the moment. I feel like there could be potential to drop into that gap pretty quickly, then maybe bounce at the bottom of the gap and just fill it, because SPY loves to fill gaps, right? And then we just maybe churn up from there after we fill the gap. That's kind of what I will be looking for. Good morning. Yeah, because I go through so many different charts throughout the morning that you guys maybe forget the trade idea for it. So at least screenshot it, put it in the Discord chat will definitely help. Well, I hope it helps at least. There's just a lot of stocks dropping with earnings. Let me see what's going on here. So this SPY is looking a little bearish, but I want this 3-minute candle to close under that blue line for this to be valid, this downside trade. If anyone in the Discord, even in the free section and the premium section, I put out that EXAS reversal trade idea. We're looking for a break. We're looking for a break over 38. It's now halted at $40.95. So it halted on the big reversal. There's a flood of volume came into EXAS right from market open, and that one is halted. I'm going to quickly go onto that screen right now so we can have a look at that. But this one got a surge of volume. See, this volume came in. This one actually had earnings, and we saw a big drop off from 48 all the way down to $34. And if you look at the bigger scale here on the weekly chart, we are all the way down to this area right here. So there's a lot of volume, a big shelf, a volume shelf right here, about 34. So we got a strong bounce from that level. If you zoom out to the weekly or the daily, you can see those stronger levels that could hold, and we see strong reversals from, even with earnings. And the earnings was very good. I'm surprised that it dropped so much, but we did get a nice bounce right here, right? So that 34 right here on the weekly and the daily, you see those strong support levels. You see those strong support levels, and then we saw a huge bounce all the way up to 43 from that 35. That's how strong of a bounce that was. That was a 20% bounce from the low. And now we're getting the action into market open, right? We said about 38 being a strategy that I use a lot, which is VWAP and the SMA 20 ribbon. We got above that, and we got an inflow of volume right from the get-go and created a volatility halt right from market open. So I will be watching this one to see if we get any continuation to maybe like up here to like 42, 43, and then we see what happens there. We see if we decide to get knocked back down, which we can take some puts to the downside, or we can get right through that and start just filling this mess that we created with the earnings that they created. So this one will be one to watch, but it hit our target, right? $38 to $40.95. So that's close to being about 10% return already for this one. So that's something to watch, guys, for continuation. Go back to SPY and have a look at this one. So we got the buyers trying to pull this back up. So we are looking for a 637 break. If the bulls are going to push this right to pre-market highs, we're going to get that break in the next few minutes, and then we're going to start pushing higher. So right now we're just bumping our head against that 637. We want to see that candle close. This one was invalid, as you can see, because we got this wick down below this entry to the downside, but look what the candle did. It closed above that 636. So that downside move is invalid until we close below that area. Same thing upside. 637 break. If we can get above that, not just wick up and just get above it, momentum should start pushing to the upside. How you guys feeling so far out there? Yeah, Crux also a $25 drop on earnings. FTNT, big ones on earnings from yesterday and this morning. Big downside drops. And you know me, I like to pick up the pieces once the bottom's formed, and some of those reactions are overreactions. You just got to filter through that with fundamentals, reviewing earnings, having a strategy on the bigger time frames, and then trading them based on those. Once the bottom is formed, once the selling stops and the buyers say, okay, I'm going to sweep that up down there, that's when you start entering with the buyers. And those drops, those big drops on like Croc, which is down 26% today. Oh, Intel bounced right back over 20. I don't know if anyone picked up the dip buy this morning for Intel. It went down to $19.30 on that news from Trump saying the CEO has to leave. He has to get out of there because he's got conflicting a situation with China and the US and chips or what have you. So he wants the CEO out of Intel. So we saw a big drop there, down to $19 and change. I picked up a few shares. I even picked up the leverage 2X of Intel. And that was INTW, I believe that's the ticker. Just make sure, INTW. Yeah, so it's the 2X long of Intel. I picked that one up pretty cheap this morning on the dips. In the premium side, we did that. I put that out there that I was picking up some shares, some small share amounts for Intel. Up 4.4% on the actual 2X leverage, about 2% for just the shares of Intel. So pretty decent there on that. That FIG, I will be honest with you, I was down on those FIG puts. I added a few at the top, close to the top, not right at the top, right? Because that ripped yesterday, FIG did. Still think it's overvalued up here. So we're seeing a drop in FIG as well. I'm going to add that to my watch list on the right so we can pay attention to the price action. At 84, down 6%. Those puts are now only about 10% down. So I'm trying to see if this really falls under 80 today, and then we should be in profit with those big puts that we bought a couple of days ago. So right now, look what SPY is doing. What are we going to do in this zone, guys? Was anyone paying attention in this zone? What we're going to do? What are we going to do in this zone right here? We put this as maybe blue. What are we going to do in that zone? Panic. Eat the rich. That's hilarious. Not doing anything. That's the reply I like to read. Not doing a damn thing. I'm just gonna watch it. In this little zone, it's too much to be scalping in between this zone unless you got hotkeys real fast and you just scalping for 0.1% or whatever. It's not worth it for me. I'm just going to sit here and watch. And the market's been open 8 minutes. So we got plenty of time here for this to play out, either direction. Crocs actually could be like a real dip buy opportunity today, just as a day trade. Maybe trade some of this madness. See what we got here on these dips. We got 12.5% retracement. So if we get over, what are we looking here? About over $81 for Croc. Not even paying attention to my watch list entry because it's much higher because we just dropped off. So that wasn't even valid, the trade, because it never got to our entry. But if we can get over, say, $81 today, like a 3-minute candle over $81, then we have some room to get to about 84, 85. That would be my day trade opportunity for Croc if we get that. So we got the big sell-off at market open, some buying, trying to pick up the pieces about $75. So we want to get above VWAP is kind of my opportunity here, above VWAP. About 81, I rounded up, $81, play it to 84, then 80, 88. That's where my levels will be once we get above VWAP, right? So I'm going to take the fib retracement off and just look for that break above here. And then we're going to trade it to here. And then we're going to trade it to here. If the momentum really kicks in, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trade it all the way up as much as I possibly can until the momentum's gone. So I play it here to here. If we get rejection here and we start pulling down, I'll take my profits and move on, or watch it for another setup or Croc. But that's a 25% down day. Pretty wild for them. Good earnings for SRPT. So yeah, IMG is trying to break that high day as well. So we got some movement there. And this stream is really based on people that also don't have strategies or just lost and they're just trading because they just trading because they just want to, they don't have a strategy or plan. This is a place to get into this stream and then kind of understand what it takes for just pre-planning and then having a strategy and following through a strategy. You get much more consistent and just focusing on that, putting your time and effort into just building your strategy and plan and then practicing it. You have to tweak things along the way, right? It's not one plan is for everyone. You may have to tweak it based on what works for you. But the overall foundation is what matters. And if you don't have any strategy or plan and you're just winging things, you're most likely to get eaten alive in this market. So, I'm here just to take this stream and to, help people get into mentorship or coaching. And then from there, just get you on the right path to just consistency. It doesn't even matter if it's 3% a week for the beginning. It's better than taking losses week after week, right? So trying to build that foundation of maybe starting off small, 5% weeks, P&L, profitable, then build from there, do that for a month or two, then raise the goals a little bit higher along the way when you get more confident and you get a lot more consistent. So that's what we want to see just a lot of people out there doing. We don't want to see you get smashed by the market and just be in and out and not have the chance to succeed and to make that extra money on the side, maybe for vacations, maybe you want to buy a new car. This is definitely a tool for you to make that extra cash to buy that car or buy school supplies or whatever it is for your child. So don't give up. Don't just jump in and wing everything. Get into something that works consistently. So yeah, SPY. We're still in that zone, guys. So it's close to dropping under 636. That's a nasty candle right there, but I'm not going to jump into the candle. I'm going to wait for a close under that level. Right now, it's just sideways. Everything gets eaten up once it touches 636. Everything gets rejected once we get that 637. So it's a dollar range. Nothing I want to be involved in with SPY at the moment. Crux, let's see where Crux is going. So Crux is moving a little bit to the upside, trying to find a bottom. So it's still play. Still the play for me is above 81. And then playing it up to this 84, 85, then 88, 89. And once I get to my first target, I probably will take off about at least 50% of my profits and then raise my stops up along the way up. I will not take a loss once I'm up to this target. I will have a break even stop loss or higher. So that if it does fall down on my remaining shares, I'm not going to take a loss. Screw the loss. I would break even at best. Could you drop that crop chart in? Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Sorry with all my drawings on there as well. Let me put that in the chat. Here you go. So above, now we're going to say above 81, right? Target 84, 88. I'm going to go a little bit lower here, target 84. If I can get this live trade review, I'm going to buy it on my account if I can for this one. If it works out, let me see what happens there. And same thing with SPY. If it plans out, I'm going to buy one contract just to play it through live, and just focus on just buying one contract. I'm going to queue this up on my Webull. See if we can get a play here. One put for tomorrow, 635 put. So go for about $170 for this contract. Let's see what happens with this one. So it's about $168 a contract. It's now losing that bottom line of that little range. So this could really start getting nasty now. We should see if the buyers step back in, and we got about 2 minutes left of this candle, so it's still got a bit of time to form, and it could easily get bought right back up again. So really depending on what this candle does. What happened to Jemiah? I'm done looking at Jemiah for a long time. Is it blasting or is it dropping? Oh, it's up 30%. Look at that. Oh, my Lord. It could on the weekly over the SMA 200. If it closes above that, it gets real bullish in the chart on the weekly. So I'm not a Jemiah lover, though, so I'm going to stay away from that one. I really like that play and that business model. It's not really gaining anything there. Okay, so this one's dropping. So SPY's downside move happening right now. IMG, if you're in IMG, we're looking for that high. We're up to IMG now, up to high of day is up 69 cents. Depending on when you got that entry. We said we have a break above high of pre-market for more upside, right? And that was 55 cents, I think, around 55. We're now up we hit just 69 cents. So that's a really, really nice play. If you grabbed it from the watch list, it was above 50 cents entry. So that is per share that you have, that's max potential. There's 19 cents profit per share. That is, at least 25% return on that trade. And all you have to do is focus on once you're in profits, you either take your profits or raise your stops up along the way to keep you in, and then you would get stopped out and you take that big chunk of profit, or you trim your position, however it is. But that one's a big win for us this morning. IMG, 69 cents was the high of day so far. Let's see if this one. Now we closed above this for the first time, above this block that we were in, and I'm going to get rid of that blue box because it's too much for me to follow, to look at. We got now bearish coming into it. So that's a big red candle that was closed down below 636. Gap fill is all the way to 634.20. I think this looks, sellers are trying to take this down now, guys. Finally, we got out of this box. Now it means something. Jamayo, yeah, I'm not even paying attention to that e-commerce company. There was big money made when Shai was here in the Discord and was on the stream. I mean, it went to like $8 or something, right? So that was a great profit there. I haven't looked at it since the big drop off that it had. So we're going to see what happens with this SPY here. Got some buyers down there. Big is still dropping $83 if you're in the premium Discord side. We grabbed those puts, plus $80 puts for next week. So that doesn't look so bad right now. And if you're interested in learning the strategy, guys, there's a few strategies I teach in the mentorship program that we have. It starts at 11 today. My stream's at 11. So if you're thinking about joining and you want to be in that stream, it starts at 11. I'm sure someone can put it up in the chat with the link to sign up and get into that live stream right after this. Once this wraps up, I have about 30 minutes to have a little break, get ready, and then it starts at 11 a.m. Eastern today. So this one bounced right up. So now second entry would be a rejection on that 636 level. That would be ideally the rejection and follow through to the downside if we get that 636 rejection point. That's when now I'm going to try to queue up those puts if we get rejection here. It's testing that 636 level again. Let me put the actual coaching link. Here you go, guys. You can see it before. I just put it right in the chats. Okay, so right now we're just sitting right there at that 636. If we get this rejection right here and we start to fall off again, we should come down to this target point. I'm not saying follow me by what I'm doing. Have your plan, your own way of trading it, your own stop loss, your own max risk. My risk may be totally different to yours. But this is what I'm going to be personally trading. If we get this rejection and close under this level again, then I'm going to take a trade to the downside. So we got about minute 35 for this candle. We could literally chop for the morning so far. No clean signal. And the Trump tweet could easily change the momentum, so to the downside or upside. Depends how chirpy he is today. So Crux is up to 79.60, trying to build momentum there as well. Still not at my entry, but it is retesting the VWAP, right? So the VWAP right here is around $80.10. if it can get through that, that could be a little bit of a better entry, but I'm looking personally for an $81 break to trade it. Let me go through the chats as well here. It's funny. I'm reading some of these comments. Hilarious. Where's Cedar Brown? Where's your Jemiah? That's maybe think about having a plan to execute some profit there today. So I feel like we could get a play here. Now I want to also go back to EXAS. Let's see what happened there. Wow, big move. Look at that, guys. So congrats if you trade this above the 38 entry. We're looking at that VWAP break, and the SMA 20 looks very bullish, and we got volume once we broke that VWAP. So something like this, now you just now if you built this strategy that I took some time to build with that watch list trades, now you just think about, where should I take profits? You're not going to take a loss anymore. You shouldn't be, your stop loss should not be below break even. Your stop loss should be above taking profit somewhere. And we just went all the way back to kind of similar move this had. So we went as high as 42.89. And what is that profit if we entered from let me see, what kind of profit is that? 38 break to 42.89. Solid 12%, guys. 12% gain on just a quick little trade that took about 15 minutes. I got a mention. Let me see in the chat. Tick here. Let me see if Tick Breeze is here. Maybe he was in the premium side. With that upstart, great find yesterday, and it's always great and when we all built this community and just learned together in the same community. People find stuff that you may miss because you're looking at other stuff, and it was brought up, from a member. Upstart yesterday, finding that bottom maybe around $68, 67, 68, and I just grabbed a few shares based on that member's plan, and I am green in that trade. So thank you very much, Tick Breezy, on that one. So this one, I actually took a position in this one. I'm going to take some profit here at 43. It may be halted again. No, it's not halted. Had me forward for a second. I'm going to take some profit here, 43, just because I know that this got rejection here. So I'm going to take off about 80% of my profit now, right here. And I grabbed it once we broke over here with some volume. So I'm going to keep about 20% in my position now. And then, like Hail Mary here, aim for where we started to gap down from. So I'd be looking for a max profit, maybe around 46. And then that's where I will take my last 20% of my position and then have a stop, raising my stop up above. So my stop now is about 41.50. And just remember, that's way above my entry at 38. Yeah, Tick Breezy was the one. Yeah, thanks for that one. UPST, Upstart, right? Getting some momentum here at 70, up 4%. We were looking for that, and we strategized together, and we were focused on where we were looking to buy and what we're looking to see hold. And it is holding in the same box that we were looking at, right? So when you plan these things out, and if they don't go to plan, you don't get in them until it makes sense to get into it. So right here and here is the box we were looking at for it to hold. This being, you have to zoom out, guys. This being the resistance point here, and then this being the bounce from April here. So we were looking at either a hold of here or a hold of here, resistance point that turned into support. So bounce here or bounce here. That's all we were looking for some volume to come in and tell us that, yeah, this is going to start reversing with that buying volume, holding of support. And then we're going to take a position here and have a very tight stop underneath there. So you're not risking much. If we decide, I actually got in a little bit high, about 68, I think I got into around there. But your risk, should maybe be about 2-3%. But your upside could be 8% here to this area. Right here, 8%, and then maybe up to as high as 18% if it really starts blowing up from here. So makes sense there, right? 7-8% return, and then you're risking about 2-3%. So that's a good risk to reward on this type of trade here. If you risk 10-12% and your return is only 7%, to me that's not a good risk to reward, and I'm not going to get into that kind of risk. I want to keep my risk lower than the outcome of the upside there. So yeah, nice find there. I actually bought one contract as well. I bought a $70 contract for September 5th. It's up 11%. So this SPY action is just chop zone. It drops down, gains that same little zone, and then it's trying to build momentum to the upside. So it's, for me, this is not a really good trend to even trade. I need to see like a nice clean trend down or a nice clean trend up for me to take this trade seriously. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. About 30 minutes until the stream is over here. So Spike regained that same zone, but it doesn't look very strong. It may just come right back down. We'll see. This could be the nice entry this time around. And also, I probably have to have like X up to make sure that I'm keeping track of Trump, what he's saying. What else is moving today? Run, we got Sunrun that's up 34% with earnings. They also got some upgrades as well today, up to $20 upgrades for a Sunrun. All right, I'm gonna take one put here. It's risky because this candle hasn't closed yet, but I'm gonna take one put, and then my stop is gonna be pretty much if we blast through 637. That's going to be my stop. If we break through that top of the range, that's where I'm going to stop at. This is a lot of chop, so it's not like, a clean trend here whatsoever. It's just sideways choppiness so far. But I took the 635 puts and I got them for 155. You can also put a max stop in. You can put maybe a 10%, 15%. And then aim for the same thing to the profit side as well. Let me have a look through here. Are you still in EPAM? Yes, EPAM I'm still in. That's a premium trade right there. But I feel like I grabbed a nice little position yesterday at 150. So that was nice. EPAM had earnings as well. Did they hold their gain so far? It's 161, so it's up 6.4%. EPAM, that was a swing trade that we were building in the coaching side. On the daily time frame, if we can actually hold above, if we can get above 164, I really turn more bullish on this trade all the way up. We have room to go to maybe the 180s, and then maybe as high as we also got the SMA 200 about $200, 199. So there are really good earnings. They actually raised their guidance too. That's what I like to see. And that is kind of what I would be aiming for, to go right back to where it was, about 190, 180, 185 to 200. Test that SMA 200 again. And then I will look to reevaluate my plan. Either take some profit, raise my stop, so I'm guaranteed the profit, but not taking a loss at that point. Thoughts on UPS? UPS, I did go over that in one of my coaching streams as well. Fundamentally, it's not going anywhere, right? It's a worldwide shipping company that's been affected by tariffs, ultimately been affected, or they believe that they're going to be affected by tariffs. That's why we got some spook going on here. But if that gets adjusted and they don't get hit as hard for tariffs, this could be a really solid pickup. What I will be looking for, and we can look at the resistance break. So we can also look to play once we get back above a level, or we can look to play once we reverse off the support levels. So I got a few levels to aim for here. So I either got a break off of a pullback to about 76 or a pullback to 70. These are levels that are picked up from previous price action in like 2016. So if we come down to these levels, we see some buying off these levels, meaning, strong reversal from red selling candle bars to really strong buying volume bars, then I will be looking to buy off of these levels, at least pick up some shares, the starting position, if we come down as low as this. We are RSI at the bottom of the band, around 35 on the RSI. Really doesn't go down as low as, we've seen it go down as low as 24, but primarily over the years of history, we've seen it come down to around 27 and then bounce pretty hard from 27 on the RSI. So I will be paying close attention to 27 on the RSI and also these levels down here. If we don't get down to those levels, then I'll be looking to take a trade once we break above this previous swing low, right? So above 89, 89.10, if you want a precise number, 89.10-ish is where I will be looking to take a position, or at least look to take a position. If we close above this again, a daily candle, we close above 89.10. The next daily candle, we hopefully build off that. We start to move off that level too. That will give me some extra confidence to take at least a starting position here, right? And take this trade higher from there. So two ways to trade it: we get above resistance, or we pull back to those support levels on the bigger time frames, the weekly or the monthly. You can zoom out as well to the monthly and get those strong levels that we've seen some big reaction off of, and there's some big volume shelves at those levels. Then we can pick up some discounted shares, and it could be a really good trade for maybe years of holding it. You can pick up dividend as well as the reversal on the actual stock itself. So I don't mind UPS. It could be a trade that you could hold for 6 months to a year, and you can collect dividends every quarter passively, and you can see the reversal in the chart itself. So you collect in dividends, which you can reinvest back into the company, into the stock. You can buy more stock in the company, or you can take the profit and invest somewhere else. Totally up to you. But this could be one that you collect the dividend as well as the reversal, which is a double whammy for me. This is something I'd love to see. Dividend, yeah, we love dividends, right? We love that passive income. But I don't want to be collecting a dividend if the chart's getting destroyed, because all you're doing is making up for your losses. I want to see a reversal and collect a dividend. I want to see both. Makes me happy to see that. Okay, SPY's jumping here. What are we up on those SPY puts? Up at 8%, guys. No, I'm up more than that. Sorry. So on those SPY puts that we grabbed 155, we're into the 170s now. So we're up to 183. So we're up to, let me see. I'm going to actually trim some of my position here. We're up 18% now. From entry 155 on SPY. So we took the bait there, and we're up a good amount on those puts. I'm going to trim my position, I actually bought 2. I'm going to keep 1 and see if I can get all the way down to this target point here. So that's 635 would be where I'm aiming for next. And then I would likely just take my last part of my profits. We're up to 185 a contract from 155 entry. There we go. Come down, baby. Come on down. Come into my basket where I can collect the profit. Come into the basket. Come on. You know you want to come. There we go. Bam. We hit our target, guys. I'm going to take my profit on that last contract. We got over 25% there. 30% on that contract now. We're up over 30% on that contract. Now I'm totally out of my position. Bye-bye. And there we go. Now, max profit, if we decide to continue to hold below 635, we could come down to fill that gap, like I said, from here. We planned this out, guys, all the way down to 634.20 is that gap fill opportunity. But I am out, and I actually took my last profit about 212. Actually, 220 is my last profit. At 41% is where I took that last contract out. I do not have any position personally in SPY puts now. Bam, take that to the bank. Give me some emojis if you took that trade. Give some likes. Smash the emojis. Smash that profit channel as well. If you took the trades, you have some screenshots. Smash the profit channel. Let's get that blasted out there. And all we did is plan this out. And you don't really need me to say I'm buying it to know you're confident in the trade. If you plan these things out, follow the volume, price action is going to follow. And this plan that I put out could have happened 2 hours from now, but at least I have a plan and be ready for the plan once it happens. It could happen at 12:01 p.m. when I'm eating a sandwich from Publix. It could happen, at power hour, and my eyes I could just be sitting on the sidelines waiting for this trade until it happens, and then I play it and I make some money and then I'm out. Then bye-bye for the day. I made my profits, and now I'm going to go live my life, right? For the rest of the day. I don't need to be stuck here anymore. So that was nice. It looks like we may get that gap fill. It's close. I'm not going to really test it here. Test the profits here, but we got over 40%. Not going to I can hope that it's going to hit the bottom, but we got to see it. We got to see it happen. So gap fill opportunity to 634.20. It's about 20 cents off. It may not get there. Got some buying up here again. I swear that Intel CEO probably just stuck up his middle finger when Trump decided to say he needs to resign. He's like, they just hired me. Why do I need to quit my job based on what you're saying? I'm sure he just stuck his middle finger up and just moved on. Because that's not how it works, right? So Gonna have to intimidate everyone. Logging off for the day. Latvian's done. He's done. Look at that. Look at that. That's hilarious. I'm at the wheel. Mad Maverick at the wheel here. Okay, so logging off for the day. That's it, man. You don't need to go force another trade and potentially taking a loss and taking some of that profit away that you just made. You just enjoy your day or look for another setup that you pre-planned. And if it works out, then you know a reason to trade it. But you don't need to go rush into another trade, right? Yeah, remember 1.2, oh, 1,000, $1,200 you made. Nice, Latvia. Nice trade there on that, whatever you traded. If it was SPY, fantastic. I give myself a pat on the back. If it was something else that you traded, congrats. As also. Took 20% on SPY puts. Got about 40% on yours. That's fantastic. Okay, so I got a question here about RPD. Give your thoughts about holding through earnings. Earnings is like a 50-50 shoot at this point. Like, you know, if they mention the slight wrong thing in earnings, it can dump off 40-50%. That's the thing that you have to risk going into an earnings, knowing that if they say anything bad, even if their earnings are great, maybe their their EPS is a beat, sales is a beat, but their guidance is shit. That could just destroy the whole momentum. And the stock could lose 30-40%. We've seen that in Croc. We've seen that today. That's lost 25%. We've seen it in was it Fortinet? I think that's what it's called. FTNT. I can add that to the chart to my watch list too. This one smashed down 24%, even though maybe they beat their profits, right? They beat everything, but their guidance is what matters. Investors want to see what's going on forward, not what's happened already. So when everything gets brought into the light of, oh, tariffs going to affect us, sales are going to go down, guidance is going to be 10% lower, all that's going to make a big difference. So it's going into earnings on your positions that you have. You just got to play out those scenarios. Are you willing to take that that drop of 20-30%? Are you building a position long term and you're going to snag down there if it's a long term support? You're going to buy down the bigger position down there, or if you don't want to deal with that, then maybe potentially getting out of the trade until after earnings. And then if it blasts 20%, you missed the 20% blast, but at least you know maybe the results have come in, the guidance is good, gives you another sense of confidence to maybe jump back into it on little dip buys that you see in the chart because everything looks good. So it really depends on if what kind of what's your risk going into earnings. Do you want to just get out of it and not worry about the risk, get back in afterwards? Or do you want to risk that where you could drop 20-30%, but you don't mind grabbing more shares to lower your average? Really depends what kind of trader you are, dollar cost averaging, if you like to play the momentum, things like that. Like it really depends how you are. Oh, actually gap filled, guys. It hit 634.16 on this last candle. So we got a full gap fill from yesterday after hours to pre-market. So perfect trade there for us. That played out. What did I make on it? Let me see what I made on that SPY trade. 40% on that last contract. So I'm not going to be in any trade now for SPY. Just if maybe we lose this 634, maybe there's a way we can trade this down to the next levels from yesterday's. And all I'm getting these levels for is from yesterday, right? So I'm just grabbing these levels from yesterday. This is a resistance point. This also acted as a support. That could be a level for the next downside move. If we lose 634.20, then we can maybe get down to 633.43 would be my next target if I really want to keep on trading based on these levels to the downside. So me as a trader, I'm just gonna sit here knowing that I just took 40%. Not gonna rush into anything now. Not gonna do it. Croc is not at my entry of 81. Intel's still red. Fig is coming down. FTNT still dropping. There's nothing there that's telling me they're reversing, so I'm not going to try to find the dead cat bounce there yet. Oh, we smashed that profit today. Beautiful. Okay, so 634, 22, 20 is about to be retested again. Spy hit final target. Yep. Oh. Okay, it's perfect. Anyone in any other trades? They in any trades? They made some good money there. Crispy CMCT about 10 cents away from entry. This one is still it's okay. We're above the SMA 20, but we're far away from the VWAP here. So this one's a little bit funky. But it is a low float stock. They have earnings today. So it's not something I want to hold into earnings, but it's something I wouldn't mind day trading if the momentum kicks in here. What's our entry for this one? 860. What are we at now? 869. Let's see what happens here on this candle. Building a little bit here with some volume. Then if we zoom out and we look at the volume profile down the bottom here, the volume bars, we can see that we had some nice volume here that pushed it up, but we've just been downtrending, right? So if we start picking up the pace here with the volume side and we start to see, oops, we're not going to do a fib on the volume. If we start to see that happen where the volume starts increasing to the buy side again, this is going to move. This is going to move pretty quickly just because also it's a low float. Doesn't take much to get this going. So yeah, we're just watching here. It's up to $9 now. Now we got some volume. We got to 910 on this candle. We're starting to get some momentum. We still got that rejection point we have to pay attention to is about $9.15 is VWAP. So if we can clear 915, then we have momentum on our side. This could be another smash of a trade. If we can just get through, if you didn't take the trade from 860, then we're looking for that VWAP break. Potentially, we can get up to as much as $9 to $10 up here again where it was at. If we can get above VWAP and hold above it, meaning we close this candle above and then the next candle follows through with more momentum and not just falls right back down. So yeah, I hope we see some of you new, even in the Discord or even on social. If you guys don't have a place to go, a community to go to, to learn strategies that make sense, simple strategies, not even things that you have to remember 10 different, rules to trade them. Just hop into the coaching and that's where you can start. Once you get started and you're on a really good path to consistent profit, P&L, weekly, monthly, then you can hop into the premium side too, where we have the alerts. We have a bigger community there where you can get alerts, live streams, all different extra tools that you can use. But a good place to start could be coaching, to get your foot in the door and onto a successful path. I've got about 7 minutes, guys, before I have to jump off here. So we got that wick all the way to 9:57 so far. It's still got about 22 seconds on this 3-minute candle to close. And the VWAP is 9:15. Here we go. Let's see if it now builds off here, or we just fall right back down. I want to see this next candle just build off this level and start blasting right back up as well. Not just fall right back down under VWAP. We want to make sure it holds 9:15. And if you got in at the 860 break, then you should be thinking of a stop loss, taking profits. You shouldn't be taking a loss in this trade now from 860. Buy down. Yep, down to 633.65, guys. So I should have kept my SPY puts. I'm mad at myself. Just joking. I can never be mad at myself for taking 40%. But yeah, it's coming down. Next target is 633.43 based on yesterday's resistance points, and it's smashed right through that now. I always thought that this was going to be a fall down day based on tariffs coming into effect, and then who knows if there's some retaliation coming today. So I always thought there was going to be more chance of downside. I just waited a little bit for the entry. But we got through that, our target points. Now we got to the bonus target. If we fall through that area, like we can get really, really nice, clean targets lower down to around this area. 632.78 would be a next area to aim for. There is no stop in FTNT. It's still falling. $71. Still falling. This is the trade of the day. I mean, this is where we made our money on the option side. Right down to 633 now. It's falling. SPY is dropping. Look at the volume as well. Sell side volume. Nothing really. No buyers in sight yet that we should pay attention to. And Capitan, yeah, these trades, especially a low float like this one, CMCT, could happen quickly. Don't feel like you missed out. You got FOMO, you need to jump in. You know, there's always another setup that we can find that maybe is slower and easier to trade than something that's a low float and it moves quickly on small volume. You know, there's always other ones out there that in the top gainers that we can focus on as well. Fortitude is just 40 net. Sorry, it's just falling and falling and falling. I would like to pick up some shares if we can come down to the 50s. That would be amazing. My upstart calls are still holding up too. See what else is going on. I did trade live in the premium yesterday. I bought one share in LNTH. I got 9% now. So I bought it. We bought it for 49 and change yesterday in the live stream. I grabbed one share just to follow it. I guess I missed out on the big dead cat right there. But it's up to 54.50 now from 49. So it's got about 9.5%. Got about $4.50 profits. Woohoo! And now I can probably buy myself a coffee. So with that profit, just think about that. I don't have to fork out $4 or $5 now out of my own money because I just made it on this trade. I wish I bought a few more shares. That's for sure. Why you have to ruin it for me? Come on, Pooks. You have to ruin it for me. I suppose I have to make a little bit extra now to pay my bill, the tax bill on it. You're dead right. No, I have to get a couple more dollars. So with yeah, this spy looks ugly. It actually looks like a real clean trend down day, and we have room to fall. So you know, I will be looking to maybe take some more of my hedge trades further outputs if we continue to fall. It's bouncing right on this support from yesterday. Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap this stream up, guys. We traded, and that's all I focused on, one trade. I didn't have to go across 20 different tickers and trade 20 different stocks. I just focused on one thing and focused on what my play and my plan was for it once it happened. And I've just made 40% on one trade, and I don't have to go elsewhere now. I've made my goals for the day. I can just move on. I can maybe do some research. I can maybe set up, put another trade that I like out there and put some levels in place. But I don't need to go looking for anything if it doesn't play out. If another one plays out, I make some more profit based on the same strategy and plan. So I'm gonna wrap this stream up, guys. It was nice hanging out with everyone. Just keep those watch list trades close to you if they play out. Some of them haven't hit entry, but if they do play out, it could be 2 hours from now, 3 hours. It could be 30 minutes from close. They could play out if the volume's right. So yeah, I will see you guys in the coaching stream in about 30 minutes. Bye for now.